Welcome back to Boring Reviews.
Boring land.
Oh, just kidding.
Blasphemer.
Hello,
right.
Boring Review Nation.
Kind of pointless.
We know all things. Hello, Boring Review Nation. Gabe.
Nick.
And we are here today to bring you another reaction. That's right, another song reaction. Excited to do this one. First and foremost, because I'm a man of the people, Nick.
Oh.
I'm a man of the people. Did you know that?
That's good to know.
I'm a man of the people.
People champ?
And I'm the people's champ, okay?
Okay.
I'm the people's champ, all right? Even though they don't know
Does that make me the people's chump?
And the reason I'm bringing this one to you guys is because after we did our last music reaction on Biggie, and I said that Biggie is the GOAT, greatest of all time, as expected, there was going to be some people that disagreed, and that's fine. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I think I even mentioned, listen, there's a Mount Rushmore of rap, and depending what coast you're on, East Coast, West Coast, it's Biggie or Pac, right? Of course, you got Eminem up there along with Jay-Z. Yep. But, you know, those two guys, Nas, right? That's probably the Mount Rushmore, right? And they're going to piss somebody else off for not saying that. My own people's, right? Because I'm part Puerto Rican. Like, what do you mean? Pun's up there. I love Big Pun. But I can't say he's the greatest of all time. You know what I mean? He's just not at that stature. With that being said, yes, Pac is probably one of the most influential rappers. And I think the thing about Tupac is that he broke the mainstream, not just rap, but he was one of the very first rappers that also was able to get into film and other genres, you know, acting, poetry. Like, he was a really, really talented dude. And, you know, I'm a huge Pac fan, even though I'm from New York. Again, Pac broke the scene in New York. He was actually an East Coast guy and went out to the West Coast later on. But, many of you that follow Pac and you Pac fans, you guys already know, perform in our school. He went to school with Jada Pinkett and all those people. Like, he was talented from an early age. He was meant to rap. And, you know, he was also very influential from the fact that he was one of the first rappers that really started getting political with his message. It was more than just about, you know, guns and drugs and this and that in the streets. He also was really talking about things that most rappers weren't talking about back then. And that's because of his influences, where his mom was a Black Panther that was married to another Black Panther. So he had all that, you know, ingrained in him in a very, very early age. And, you know, it's so hard when we talk about, you know, introducing Nick to, like, rap, and you okay, who are the greatest rappers here? What's the greatest song? I'm gonna get a whole bunch of
there's a million songs that you like, yeah.
And Pac has so many great songs, you know what I mean? But for me, the song that really got my attention, like, wow, okay, this guy did something different. And it's crazy because he wasn't able to, a little side note, he wasn't even able to enjoy. The guy had the #1 album in the country, and he was in jail at this time. He wasn't able to promote it. The album cover is just him, like, in a t-shirt with glasses on or whatever, because he couldn't do much. If you notice the video for Dear Mama, he's not even really shooting a video for it because he was locked up in jail, and I just gave it away. Then they were doing Dear Mama, and to me, that's his most influential song. It's the greatest Tupac song. It really shows you that he's a different rapper from a lot of mainstream rappers that were around back then. And, man, I love Pac. I know you know of Tupac, but yes, we already had this conversation. You never listened to any Tupac music.
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, maybe it's in the background, whatever place I'm at, this or that. I have listened to rap growing up, but I'm more of a rock guy or whatever. And so, if you don't know, if you didn't watch our other reaction to Juicy from Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G., check that out on the channel. First time listening to that song. But yes, I haven't listened to one that I know of from Tupac. I've always heard the name. I've heard about, he's like Elvis, where everyone keeps seeing him here and there. He never dies. He's hiding somewhere. And
yeah, Cuba,
I'm
here,
excited
wherever.
to check it out.
Exactly.
But yeah, I've never listened to any of his music, I don't think. Did he do one like California something?
California Love, that was a very big one.
So that one I've heard.
When he,
that one I've heard.
After he got out of jail, Suge Knight got him out of jail, paid $1 million for his bail, and he was able to go to to the West Coast. He went to Death Row, and they signed him, and that was the very first big song he did.
That's one of his I have heard.
California Love.
Absolutely.
Right, that's a very
Grew
popular
in California.
one.
But let's go ahead and check this out. If you're excited to see me listen to this for the first time, and you got any other songs that he's got to get me introduced to, let me know. Comment below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps our channel a lot, especially if you like our reactions to music. And with all that being said,
let's do it.
Let me get into this. And let's see if Gabe is wrong. Will I like it? We'll find out. I'll be honest with you. I promise. Here we go. We're doing the lyrics video because I want it real long.
You all appreciate it. When I was young, me and my mama had beef. 17 years old, kicked out on the streets. Though back at the time, I never thought I'd see her face. Ain't a woman alive that could take my mama's place.
I like
Spinning
the
from
voice.
school, I'm scared to go home. I was a fool with the big boys, breaking all the rules. Shed tears with my baby sister. Over the years, we was poor than other little kids. And even though we had different daddies, the same drama when things went wrong, we blame mama. I reminisce on the stress I caused. It was hell, hugging on my mama from a jail cell. And who thinking elementary? Hey, I see the penitentiary one day. Running from the police, that's right. Mama catch me, put a whooping to my backside. And even as a crack fiend, mama, you always was a black queen, mama. I finally understand for a woman it ain't easy trying to raise a man. You always was committed, a poor single mother on welfare. Tell me how you did it, there's no way I can pay you back. But the plan is to show you that I understand. You all appreciate it. Don't you know we love you, sweet dear mama. Place no one above you, you all appreciate it.
I love that he's singing this to his mom's appreciation.
That's great.
Now ain't nobody tell us it was fair. No love from my daddy cause the coward wasn't there. He passed away and I didn't cry cause my anger wouldn't let me feel for a stranger. They say I'm wrong and I'm heartless, but all along I was looking for a father, he was gone. I hung around with the thugs, and even though they sold drugs, they showed a young brother love. I moved out and started really hanging. I needed money of my own, so I started slanging. I ain't guilty, cause even though I sell rocks, it feels good putting money in your mailbox. I love paying rent when the rent's due. I hope you got the diamond necklace that I sent to you. Cause when I was low, you was there for me. You never left me alone because you cared for me. And I can see you coming home after work late. You're in the kitchen trying to fix us a hot plate. Just working with the scraps you was given. And mama made miracles every Thanksgiving. But now the road got rough, you're alone. You're trying to raise two bad kids on your own. And there's no way I can pay you back. But my plan is to show you that I understand. You all appreciate it.
When I think of Pac,
and dear mama,
it's funny because I debated this with my wife and my daughter and all of my friends in the house.
pour out some liquor and I reminisce. Cause through the drama I can always depend on my mama. And when it seems that I'm hopeless, you say the words that can get me back in focus. When I was sick as a little kid, to keep me happy there's no limit to the things you did. And all my childhood memories are full of all the sweet things you did for me. And even though I act crazy, I gotta thank the Lord that you made me. There are no words that can express how I feel. You never kept a secret, always stayed real. And I appreciate how you raised me and all the extra love that you gave me. I wish I could take the pain away. If you can make it through the night, there's a brighter day. Everything will be alright if you hold on. It's a struggle every day, gotta roll on. And there's no way I can pay you back, but my plan is to show you that I understand. You all appreciate it. Don't you know we love you, sweet dear mama? Place no one above you, sweet. You all appreciate it. Don't you know we love you, sweet dear mama?
So, it's interesting. I'm wondering if this is your taste in music, especially in rap music here, because you showed me two songs now that were, like in rock, we would call them ballads. Like they're a little softer, a little slower. You can understand, you can hear even without the lyrics, you can hear what he's saying with each one.
Right.
There's plenty of rock songs where you can't hear what they're saying, for crying out loud.
Right.
And they're personal, they're autobiographical. Not to say a lot of rap isn't autobiographical, but sometimes it's just talking about this or that. It's talking about where they come from. It's talking about remembering the past, because at this point, you know, they might be a little more successful. Right. It's interesting that those were the first two songs of each of these artists that you showed. And because it was telling a story, it was appreciation, it was something that anyone can relate to that wasn't born with a silver spoon. Right. I really, really liked it. I really felt something with it. This is something that if I want to kind of just relax and kind of just do something else, I can listen to it and enjoy it. The thing, and obviously him and Notorious B.I.G., just from those two songs I've heard from both of them, different types of rappers, different type of skill set, different types of tones or whatever. But I like the different bars that he put together. But I like how he was telling the story, and with certain words, raised me. And then what's the other part? You gave me, or whatever he said. I like how he accentuated that syllable right there, so it matched with the other one. That was really nice. But I also like how he's very honest in this song. Right. Now, I don't know Tupac. I don't know his personality. Maybe he was one of those guys that was too macho to admit when he was wrong, except for when he's, you know, writing his poetry, writing his music or whatever. But he called himself a bad kid. Right. I thought that was really interesting. The last thing I want to say that I really liked is when he said that I like paying the rent when it's due. It's something kind of silly, but every time I pay the mortgage or every time we pay the rent when we were renting a house, I always said to myself, okay, I did my job for one more month. Right. You know? And that one really hit me right there.
You know, a lot of times, I remember hearing this a long time ago, that rap is like our ghetto newspapers. And, you know, just the reality is, you know what I mean? A lot of people don't read. At least, you know, when I was growing up in the 80s or whatever. Internet has changed that a lot because of blogging and stuff like that. And people are much more prevalent to that. But before, we used to get our news from, you know, rap songs and stuff like that. Like, there's the Capone and Noriega. They came out with CNN War Report or whatever. The first time I ever heard CNN, it was on the Capone and Noriega. I was like, oh, no, that before I even realized that there was actually a news broadcast, right? But, you know, rappers are, and it's funny you mentioned that I like the ones that, the story, like the ballads where you can hear what they're saying. You know, for us, rappers are our poets, you know what I mean? As far as the hip-hop community is concerned and the rap community is concerned. Right. And listen to them, they're ghetto poets, basically. And they're sharing songs that if you grew up in that area, even if that wasn't your experience, you know, that was someone else's experience. And yet, like, and even though I sell rocks, it feels good putting money in your mailbox. Right. I love paying rent when the rent's due. I hope you got the diamond necklace that I sent for you. So it shows that, hey, we're not just, you know, out here selling drugs for fun. I'm doing it because I got to pay bills, because I got to put, you know, a food on the table.
You want your own money.
And he's justifying why he does what he does. The one thing is that we watched this one, obviously, because it had the lyrics on there. But the video that goes along with this is so crazy because it shows all the different aspects of it while they're telling the story. Mm. And they show when he's in jail, she's hugging him from the cell block, and when he gets shot at the end for the first time. Yeah, because Pac had got shot. He was the 50 Cent before 50 Cent. He got shot 5 times. This is before he got killed out here in Las Vegas. But he was at a studio, Quad Studios in the Bronx, and that's why him and Biggie had a falling out, because Biggie happened to be at the studio the same night with Puff Daddy and them, and people knew that's where all the rappers went to record, and they went and set him up. Come to find out years later, it was a guy named Hitman Jack, because him and Haitian Jack had a falling out. But his beef with Biggie was, you knew Haitian Jack too. You knew he was going to set me up. You should have said something. You should have let me know I was coming. But, you know, that also goes against ghetto rules. Like, you know what I mean? You mind your business. You don't say nothing. And that's just people on different sides of that argument. You know, with that being said, it's crazy because they were the most talented rappers of all time. Like I said, I put out the first album, and people, what about Pac? What about Pac? Very few people will argue it's not Biggie or Pac. And we lost him. He died at like 26, bro. Biggie died at like 25 or 26 or 27. I forget what age, but they were both relatively young. And they didn't get the time to build that body of work. Biggie recorded 2 albums. That's it. He had some underground songs. Pac had started a lot earlier than Biggie, so he had multiple albums, and Pac was also a workaholic. He could bust out an album in literally 2-3 months. I mean, boom, 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 a song a day. Pac was a workaholic. But we lost him very early on because of the East Coast, West Coast beef and the drama. And what happened is there was another big beef, and maybe I will introduce you to between two other New York rappers, Nas and Biggie. And what I think, at least at that time, saved the rap game is that both of them took a step back and said, looked at the Pac and Biggie situation and said, look, ultimately, we both feed a lot of people. We are both very influential. Let's keep it on records. Let's keep it on diss tracks. Let's keep it on whatever. But let's not take it to the streets, because ultimately, you know, a lot of people, and it wasn't just Pac and Biggie that died. A lot of people died behind that, you know, on both sides of the camp. There was a lot of violence back and forth. And that was bad for rap. It hurt the whole industry. And they were gone way before their time, but you know, Pac has a lot more content, a lot more music than Biggie, because he just recorded much more and was out longer. But two of my favorite rappers of all time, again, maybe because I'm from New York, I'm biased, but again, Pac is actually an East Coast rapper as well. But yeah, that's why when I said the two first songs, yeah, the slower ballads, you can understand every word they say. They're painting a picture. They're storytellers. Not that I don't mind rappers that aren't storytellers. And if you're just a battle rapper or different MCs, that's fine with me. But to me, this is the pinnacle of when rap was at its best. You know what I mean? The early to mid 90s, early 2000s, before, you know, the music game itself changed.
I don't know a lot about rap, but I know it changed a lot right from the 80s to the 90s, 2000s to what it is now. That was very enjoyable. It was also interesting how both those songs, Juicy and now Dear Mama, they both talked about going to selling drugs in the streets to make some money. Yeah. Probably a very common decision for a lot of people in that kind of situation. In that community, for sure. Right? Let us know what you think about our reaction to this. Let us know what else you want us to react to next. I'm sure there's a whole list. Let us know. And let us know what you think about, you know, what he said about who's the best of all time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time,
we know all things.